All right, here we are for our second part of our last series of practices before our perspective final here. And this is part of our two-part series of extra plus rough draft. And this one, we're going to do the rough draft version. And we're going to focus just on variety of size, okay, of the volumes. We want a nice variety, fill up the space with small ones. And we also definitely want a sense of overlap. And rushing through this series in a week, I kind of forgot the part of overlap and how important that was. So I really need to get into that. So here's just some rough drafts I've done in the past, just really quick. Use some kind of more complex forms here, and you actually see some aspects of shading in here, which we don't need to do for this, but yeah, I think this one's a really good example here of what we can do. So I'm going to give you guys some tips and techniques, and really I want you guys to just kind of have fun with this if you can, and draw. This will be kind of our rough draft and seeing how it comes out, and maybe something we can use for our final in its entirety if we really like the design, or we can kind of mix and match and mutate around. Okay, so for the first tip I have for you guys is take that vanishing point out of the middle. Okay, and doing it in the middle, everything seems so symmetrical. We want to make the space a little bit more dynamic. You see everything's kind of pulling up towards the top, kind of in the corner here. So I would think about, kind of locate the middle somewhere around an inch or two out, maybe right about there. Okay, and then the next thing I'd like you guys to start off with is a big shape, and maybe something tilted. I like to start off with triangles because it already ends up tilting the space. Okay, so this is going to be my baseline. See how big that is already? And maybe something a little bit more flat so it doesn't take up too much space and doesn't need to be perfect. Kind of a, what do you call that, isosceles triangle, and they don't have equal sides. I don't know why I forgot that. I should know it. And we're gonna align to the vanishing point. Second tip for you guys, let's say I want to go about halfway on this. Well, I'm lined up from the corner to the vanishing point, and I'm just going to draw my line about halfway, not all the way there. It's still in perspective, but what this does is I don't have to erase so much. So about halfway, a little bit longer towards the middle, and right there. So notice I'm keeping my lines really light there, and some parallel lines here. I can do it by eyesight, but if you guys need kind of a rule to help map it out for you guys, please do so. And when you do the back ends, make sure that angle is just as parallel, if not tilted inward a little bit more. People tend to point outwards a little bit more. Doesn't look as good. So just even inward a little bit more, and you can get away with that. Okay, looking pretty good. All right, so we got a nice big block triangle there. Okay, next step, we want variety. Let's do something different. Okay, so we've already done a triangle. Let's do a cylinder. Let's do a rectangle, or maybe something a little bit different. Let's overlap. Okay, so let's just go maybe on the side here. Okay, maybe follow that, maybe just kind of tilt it a little bit more. We'll just kind of do it right here. Okay, so we're going to do this side overlap here, and nice light line. I overlap the triangle. Okay, and let's go a bit longer. Okay, maybe even really short if you wanted to, but try not to cut off right where the corners will meet the edges. Okay, make sure it goes shorter or longer. Those are called visual tangents if you're familiar with geometry at this time in your school career. They also have tangents in geometry. Those are the same things. I think what curves run right into or perpendicular to other lines. Same thing happens there. We don't want visual tangents. Okay, looks pretty good. Both about equal length, so we'll try to do the next one a little bit longer. And I want the cylinder to overlap the triangle, so wherever they cross, erase what you want to go behind, and then you'll see it go behind. Okay, all right, looks pretty good. Let's say we want something to go in front. We want a foreground piece. We got this like little empty space to work with. Let's go a little bit smaller, kind of like a big medium piece, medium size. Maybe we'll call this large. Let's go a little bit smaller, and let's go rectangle. Maybe not that tilted there. And we'll kind of go the other way. Make it more dynamic that way. Let's go skinny. Now, we've done the hollow. We can decide to make this hollow and have the rectangle go through it, but let's say we keep it solid, okay? Let's line up those lines. And so since this is solid, it can't, unless we want it to overlap over the top, we can do it, but let's make it look like it goes right in front here. So we're gonna stop kind of right there. And look, I'm matching up the corners. I'm going to the vanishing point, and I'm just stopping right there. I'm making sure that I'm overlapping the front edge, because I wanted to make it look like it's just right in front of this face here. Right, it can't go any further. Okay, so I want to right here, and my front angle goes there, kind of at that angle. I want to stop right there, and let's see, might end up with the tangent here. Yeah, because right where I map it off, look how this corner comes to there. It's fine. I'm kind of really OCD about that. So usually what I would do is, just so you guys can see that happen there, if you guys notice that back edge lined up with the triangle, actually I'll make this a little bit shorter or longer. Let's make it shorter. Okay, so we're still overlapped the triangle, and there we go, parallel. All right, now we don't have that tangent there. Erase those guidelines. Erase where that triangle overlaps the rectangle, because we want the rectangle in front. Redrawing those lines, and that looks pretty cool. So part of that rectangle overlaps the triangle, part of it doesn't. Okay, and we got it skinnier, we got it smaller, we got it shorter. Nice variety here. Okay, let's do one nice and long, since we got some short ones here. Actually, let's do one that's right behind. We got foreground, middle ground. Let's do a background one. And let's do, right about here. Ooh, what do you guys think? What do you, another triangle? Let's do another triangle. Okay, so let's say it does this. Okay, so I'm gonna imagine it as it overlaps. There, the triangle's pointed away this time, so at least that's a little bit different. And I'm gonna align it to the vanishing point, align this to the vanishing point, and let's make this one really long. So right back here, I'm gonna cut it off right before it hits that vanishing point there. So I'm gonna bring this in a little bit more, if you guys see that. Darken it up there just a little bit, because I might want to overlap some other stuff later. Okay, and I want this to go behind this triangle, so where this guy overlaps this, I erase him. So now I got foreground, middle ground, background. Really great way to add some space there. Okay, and this one is to the side. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna skip my ruler because I can do it all by hand. I'm gonna go a little bit quicker, and just kind of talk about what I'm thinking about here and as I go through. So really nice developed space here. I think I like this space here. I'm just going to do like a little solo one, maybe like a little circle. This guy's so small that I need to align him to the vanishing point with the ruler. Maybe a little long there. Kind of nice to do some nice, just little free shapes. Even though I want you guys to do overlap, they all don't have to be overlapped. Okay. Let's say I segment this guy. Sorry, you guys don't have to do this, but this is my design. And then let's see, I'm going to do the face. Sure. Okay. Getting too crazy with it. All right. And then let's see. I like to do like kind of elongated rectangles, which I kind of did there at the bottom. I'm going to go really long here. Really skinny. Okay, I'm not using a ruler there. Here I'm just going to use my hands to sketch this out. This is how I do it. Once you get good at sketching, you can see that you can get a lot quicker without using a ruler. Notice I'm going point A to point B really light. Let's erase that. Now for your final, for this one, I'd like you guys to do 10. For your final, you guys have to do a minimum of 15. Okay, let's keep that there. Maybe we'll do one that kind of disappears behind this guy. Do like a triangle. Let's just say kind of disappears there for a second. Let's make him reappear right back here just a little bit. Notice that I'm doing it freehand, but I'm still aligning to the vanishing point and following these curves. Okay, some overlap there. Maybe let's go in front of this guy, but behind here, and maybe behind a little bit. Okay, so let's see. What should we do? Let's just do another oval. I guess that's all right. Okay, so I want to go in front of this rectangle. Ooh. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's go have that go almost perpendicular, or almost visual tangent. You don't want lines to line up to others. And so I want this guy to go behind, so if I overlap there, and I don't want to cut off at the same distance, there. I'm gonna make this guy really short. How about that? That way I don't have to worry about that. And erase, or at least lighten up those guiding lines. I don't care if you guys have a little bit of guidelines in there. Just make sure they're light. Or in the end, really darken up your forms once you're all done. Okay. Notice I'm tilting too. Tilting really makes your designs really dynamic and look like they're moving. Okay, we're at 14 minutes here. Let's see, let's just add. This space looks good. It looks pretty filled. Maybe here can add some stuff. Maybe we'll add something that overlaps just a little bit. Let's say we want to go behind this. Let's add another rectangle this way, kind of flat again. See, even if it's just a little corner right there, will give you an idea that it's behind. And we're getting closer to that vanishing point. It's like sucking in all these forms. Don't cut off here at the same distance. Go a little bit shorter or longer. For this one, let's just go longer. And I'm lining it up a little off there. make sure that one really goes in front. Looks like it goes in front of that corner. Cool. Liking it. Let's look at it this way. Maybe start off with something different here. And I'll just do a couple more and then we'll finish it off. Everything is, besides this, is like touching each other in some way. And that really kind of fills your space there. Again, you want some loose ones, but not all over the place. See how much you can overlap here. I'm really looking for the 3D aspect here. Let's just go a simple cube, right? Keep it simple. Kind of like it in the corner, so we see these two sides, or corners like an arrow pointing to the vanishing point, tells you get two sides. So I'm tilting my paper to help me do those lines a little bit better. Okay. Sometimes you can go big clunky here and like little over here. Kind of vary the size of the forms that way. Notice as I'm going through too, notice different sizes. Okay. Large, medium, to small. In fact, just for emphasis, I'm going to do a huge triangle, and I'm going to do it behind this square. Make sure. Okay. Let's say it's right there. Okay, and we're going to do the corner. Now it's so close to the vanishing point, it looks a little weird. I'm going to use my ruler just to clean up these lines a little bit. And let's cut it off here. Not so much to work with, but we still want to go parallel to this line. And it'll almost line up to the side edge, the back edge. Okay, see that? Sometimes that happens and people get confused, but this is still the side edge. Sometimes the back edge does line up to the side edge in a different perspective. Just make sure you guys go parallel to that front edge and just trust that concept of parallel. Like this one, look at that. See, it almost like curves. But okay, so we broke it off from the vanishing point. You know, nice big piece there. Just got some other, maybe a little bit here to fill in, and maybe one extra there, and that would be a nice complete final design. Okay, so you know, really what I want you guys to do is kind of just watch this video and not really copy it so much. I want you guys to try to do your own design here as a reference point for doing your final. And if you got something that you like and it looks pretty good, you could probably end up using it for your final if it's really clean. Otherwise, I'd have you guys just kind of repeat it on another sheet of paper. Now that you know where all the lines are kind of going to go, you won't have so many eraser marks, and your final design will look more clean and for filling in and shading and for final presentation. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully that made sense for you guys, but yeah, looking forward to what you guys can do at the end of this.